Hello, welcome back to our YouTube channel. This video we're gonna be talking about apprenticeships in Ireland. So we had to cover this video and this topic because some people they don't understand what does it mean, what is apprenticeship, and how can you apply for it, and what do they look for. Some people they have tried applying for them and they say they get no response at all. Some they don't even know anything about it, like because I have talked to people and tell them that okay, you should maybe try this. They'll be like, what is that and how do I do it? So in this video, it's gonna cover everything about what is apprenticeship, how do you apply for it, steps that you have to take to applying for it, and also how do you get paid during the apprenticeship and after the apprenticeship. So let's get on to it. I have my notes here because I always have my notes to make sure that I don't forget like important things. It's better when I know that okay, I have this and this and I'm following this and I have covered this. So let's start on to it. First things first, what is apprenticeship? So apprenticeship, I will put it in my own words because of course if you just go to Google and search what is apprenticeship, you can get it. But I prefer putting things in my own words in a language that I understand because it helps me to explain to another person. Someone once said to me, if you can't explain something to a child, it means you don't know what that thing is. So what I do in everything that I do, I try to explain everything as if I'm explaining to a child because that helps my people to understand, people that are following me to understand what I'm talking about. And thank God I'm not that much good in English, so I know that I won't use strong words and big words. I just use simple English to explain everything that I know. So, apprenticeship is like a job that you get, you work on it, you get paid while you are also studying. That is what it means actually. So, this is like a job. It's a school. You can go to university while studying, but mostly part of it is actually a job. So, you are already working for a company, and that company is taking you to university or to college to get the level 6 or level 7 or level 8 in that part that you applied for. So if you search the apprenticeships in Ireland, mostly there is like civil engineering, electricians, is it plumbing? There's a lot of them in different industries. Right now, there is one that the Aer Lingus took out about they want engineers, they want technicians, they want to work in the airspace that side, yeah, if you know about those things. But then I posted it on my social media about it if you want to apply. But before you just go and start applying, listen to us and try to learn on how can you make your chances of getting like the job or getting to the apprentice or getting the response at least telling you what to do next. Okay, so then after I have explained what is that, now let's come to why are people applying for apprenticeships and never get response from those that say they do apply but they never get any response. So number one, because most people tend to think that apprenticeship is like a college training or it's like school or it's what it is, something like that, but at the same time it's your job, it's a job. So when a company is taking you for apprenticeship, they are also taking you as an employee. They are taking you to work for them. So if you're gonna apply and your CV is not up to date, they won't take you in because this is like a job. You are applying for a job and your CV is not good enough. So they will never take you in with a bad CV. Then number two on the list, it's the technical interest part. So when I say the technical interest part, it depends on because there are a lot of them. I will attach on the comment section here and on the description about the like where do you apply for them and where do you find the apprentice links and how to apply for them. And mostly if you go to places like Solas and what, they will have like apprentice and they'll explain to you what do they mean. Or you can go to your nearest what do you call those, they take the training centers where they watch, is it intro? No, it's not intro. It's not intro. It's, yeah, the further education training centers in your area. I know there's one close to you. If you go there and ask them about apprenticeships, how can you apply, what companies are actually employing, they will tell you, they will give you information. But you can also check on your website, you will always get all the information that you want. So when I say the technical part, the technical part is about the technical things about the apprentice that you're applying for. If you're applying for Aer Lingus, try to make sure or make sure that before you apply for that apprenticeship, your work experience, your education history, it it relates to what you want to apply. For an example, if you're gonna apply for that Aer Lingus apprenticeship, make sure that you have maths in your living certificate subject. Make sure that you have, even if you don't have maths in your living certificate, make sure that you did something related to maths. Let's say you went to college, you did something related. So before you just jump and apply for an apprentice, make sure your history, your technical history actually relates to what you are applying for. Because remember here, they are employing you already. So because they will take you to school, it doesn't mean that they just want someone who doesn't know anything about what they do. So if you are a person, let's say you are applying for a welding apprenticeship, and make sure you are a welder, make sure you have some things that you can show that you are a good welder and you have been working, whether for, even if you don't have formal experience, but whatever that you can prove that you have some experience, you know what you are doing. That's what they are looking for. So they're looking for you to prove the technicality, the technical part about that apprentice that you're applying for. Then the other part, I said it's maths, but I already mentioned the maths. Yes, you have to have maths in most of these apprenticeships, because most of them you're gonna end up at the end of the day, whether being an engineer or being a qualified technical person. So you need to have maths. We all know that for anyone to do engineering, you're gonna need maths, you like it or not. Then the other part is the follow-ups. People can do that thing that I once mentioned, the mass applications. Then from there is no follow up, there is nothing. They just keep quiet and wait for the company to get back to them. It's very important to, when you apply for something, you apply, you follow up, follow that company. You want that job, so follow it up. So if you're gonna find yourself applying for maybe 2 or 3 apprenticeships, then after that you don't even follow up on the company, you don't do anything, you don't contact them, just know that okay, you are not serious enough. If you are serious enough and you really want this, they say in life, if you want if you want success as much as you want to breathe, you will do anything it takes for you to get to what you want. Imagine yourself, you are drowning and you are trying to breathe. How hard are you going to work to get that air to breathe? But then when you are now working on your career and you're busy applying, you're like someone training, you're busy applying, no one is responding to you. Are you gonna give up and say, let me die once? Or you're gonna keep fighting and pushing harder? So take it like that. You want this as much as you want to breathe. Then that's when success is gonna come. That's when whatever that you want is gonna come. So keep pushing, keep following, do follow-ups, talk to the company, find out what's going on, follow them everywhere, even on social media. Then now we're gonna go to the steps. Okay, now we're gonna go to the steps that you have to follow when you are applying, because these, what I was mentioning here, it's actually the reasons why you get no response or you don't get accepted to study with them and to work with them. I was just explaining that part. So now we're coming to step by step on what you should do and how to maximize your chances of getting response or getting that apprenticeship that you want. So step number one, I already mentioned it. Oh my goodness, put things all over the place. So step number one to getting that apprenticeship, build the experience. If you don't have any experience or something similar to what you want, for example, you could say, I don't have a living certificate. I don't have anything related to working as like, I'm trying to run away from making example of the civil engineer because guys, I think I always make, but then I'm gonna use it. So you don't have any experience, you don't have mathematics, you don't have anything, but you really want to do this. So where can you start? What can you do? The answer is do a course. When I first got to Ireland, everyone was talking about level 5, QQI level 5 healthcare course. Everyone was talking about it. I think everyone around me that I know did that healthcare level 5 course or certificate to get to start to work as like care workers, to get to work as healthcare assistants. Or someone once told me this, that I should call it professional healthcare assistant. So that's what everyone did. But no one ever sat down and saw that, okay, I had to get this level 5 to work as a healthcare assistant. It goes the same when you want to do something like engineering. It goes this, it's the same thing when you want to do something like, let's say you want to work for Aer Lingus, whether as their engineering or as their technician staff or whatever. It's the same step. So number one, if you feel like, okay, I don't have any maths, I don't have anything, go to colleges and go to, there are a lot of places that provide QQI level 5 in engineering studies. So if you want anything related to engineering and electrical and stuff, go to colleges. There are a lot of them. I can mention few in Dublin. There is one around Dublin there that I once went to. I did a course with them before. So you can do, and they don't take long. As much as someone can do that QQI level 5 of healthcare for 3 months, you can also do the same with engineering studies. You can do that QQI level what for maybe 1 year or 6 months. It depends with the college. And I feel like people say maths is hard, things are hard, but it's not as hard as you think. Once you start, it becomes easy. So now start with that QQI level 5 in engineering studies. After doing that, guys, 6 months to 1 year, it feels like a long time, but once you start, it's nothing. You are done. Then now the next step, what you do, you now start going to those which you have now the pre-apprentice course with you. So you are showing them that you are actually interested in this and you are working towards it. Because not any company is just going to take someone that doesn't have anything and doesn't show that they are trying to work towards that thing. So once you have that, most of the times the companies take you 50% more serious compared to when they were going to take you before that pre apprenticeship course or QQI level 5 course. So once you have that now, you are 50% there. Then make sure your CV, the way you draft your CV, we also talk about how we help people with CVs. Make sure your CV aligns with the one that you're applying for, with the apprentice that you're applying for. Make sure your CV aligns your experience. If you don't have experience, go and try to look for experiences. Then another thing that I wanted to mention, companies. If you want apprenticeship in engineering, don't go for, I know a lot of companies that do offer apprenticeships, but don't go for big companies. Try to go for smaller ones. The competition in those big companies is too high because everyone wants to work for a big company. Everyone wants to go up there. But there are small companies that just opened up and they want people to work with them. And believe me, the experience that you're gonna gain in that small company is the same as the one that you're gonna gain in big company. And sometimes the experience that you gain in the smaller companies is actually better because in the smaller company they can tend to give you more work since they are short of staff, they are short of people. They can trust you more and give you more work, and you learn through the job compared to a big company that already has 1,000 workers. Everyone has their own role. Everyone knows what they're supposed to do. They wake up in the morning, get to the office, do their job, focus on what they're supposed to do. No one is going to have time to babysit you and teach you everything. Compared to a small company can have few workers, and maybe that one engineer has a lot of work. They tend to give those new people more work than they're supposed to do, and say, do this, do this, do this. I once in South Africa, I used to volunteer, but here in Ireland it's a bit hard, it's a bit tricky to volunteer, because the policies in Ireland, they are so strict about workers. When you're gonna work with someone or make someone work for you, you have to pay them. That one is a must. But in South Africa, some companies, they used to take us to volunteer for free, as long as you are willing to volunteer. So I used to volunteer in South Africa, and I volunteered for a few companies. I won't mention the names, but I did volunteer for few companies in construction. Those companies, they used to give me work to a point that now I can see that, okay, now I'm doing engineer's job. Now I'm doing work that I'm supposed to get paid for. Now I'm doing work that can actually be done by a professional. But because they didn't want to pay me, or I also offered that I want to volunteer, they were using that opportunity to say, you came here, you said you want to volunteer. I was also using that opportunity to learn the things that I learned from those companies. It's the some of the things I'm still using today in my own profession, in my own career, because I was willing to start from zero, work for free, push hours, and go to small companies that I know that, okay, they could be desperate for workers, but they are not willing to pay because they don't have maybe enough money to pay all their workers. So I used to take that opportunity and work for free. They were also taking opportunity to employ me to work for them for free, but I gained a lot. So take that advice as well. If you're gonna want that apprenticeship and you want to push yourself, start as low as you can. Go to those small companies and apply on them. So let me see if I missed anything from my notes here. Oh yes, I did miss few things. I also said in Ireland here, it's very important for you, if you're gonna want to work in companies that have to do with technical things, it's good to have your safe pass ready with you. There are a lot of organizations that offers free safe pass, so there is no any excuse in that one that you could say, I can't get safe pass anywhere. You can get free safe pass in a lot of places. My first self pass that I got here in Ireland, it was free. I did it for free. Then you can also do other courses like manual handling. I think that one almost everyone knows it and everyone does it, because even when you are working in healthcare, you need it. Then yeah, those are them. If you can, there's another course that I once did as well about the tools, how to use tools, how to use this. So that course was covering how to use, grinders and other machines like amadriller. Yo, I always put my language when I'm talking. Amadriller. So using those drills, everything. So once you know how to use those equipments, it boosts your application. Let's say you are applying for carpentry apprenticeship, and you already know how to use equipment, you already know how to use tools, and you have your self pass. Then that company is quick to take you in, because you have your maths, you know how to use your tools, you have your self pass, you have everything ready. Then compared to someone that says, I want the apprenticeship because I know that apprenticeship also takes me to school, I'm gonna learn everything at school. Yes, you are willing to learn, but it's easier when you are also coming with something, already having something in your hands. Okay. Then that is it on the steps that you need to know. I feel like I covered almost everything. Okay, this is a point that I left again. I also mentioned that it's important to have my notes, because I forget things. So I also mentioned that before you get that apprenticeship, if you are following a company and say, I want to work with that company, it's important to have, most companies, they always have career workshops. So it's important to attend their career workshops, because that's where they talk about what's happening, what do you need to know about the company, and what are they going to be looking for next. So I would say, if you're going to want to work with the company, whether you're going through apprenticeship or you are a new graduate, because this also covers the new graduate. As an apprentice, you can also fall under new graduates. So it's important to follow the company, especially the one that you want, or you can have two or three companies that you are following around. Attend their career workshops, get to know the companies, Follow them on LinkedIn. I made a video about LinkedIn. Follow those companies on LinkedIn and get to understand when they're employing, when what's happening, and stalk them. You know, when you are stalking a person, stalk these companies, follow them around, get to know what they are doing and what's happening. And once you attend all those things and also following them on LinkedIn, you can also go as far as, if you are free with that and if you are comfortable with it, connect with other apprentices that are already working for that company. Um, which company was that? I forgot. But there's a company that I follow a lot of companies on LinkedIn. So I saw one posting about that. This is I think a lot of companies are actually doing it. This is the week where they appreciate their apprentice. So they were like their apprentice week, what. Then they were posting their apprentice doing work, doing everything. So follow those. If you feel comfortable, follow even the apprentices that are already there in the company. If they are posting them and they are there and they are willing to be on camera, sometimes when you check them on LinkedIn and you message them, they will be nice enough to also respond to you. They could also give you advices on how to do and what to prepare. What did they have when they started? Because most of the times it's easy when you're talking to someone that is already inside doing it to say, what did I do and what did I prepare before starting all this? So some people, they may not be open enough to that. Some, they may be open enough. And it also depends on you as a person. Are you free to go all out and talk to people? But remember, when you're talking to someone, try by all means to be professional. Whatever message that you're going to send, sending a message to them, talking to them, be professional. Guys, professionalism is one thing that is going to get open doors for you. If you are not professional, like for me right now, I get messages from a lot of people. Some of them I don't ignore messages, but some of them I don't have time for to respond to them because I'm so busy. I have a lot of things that I'm doing. So if someone is gonna follow me on LinkedIn or in Facebook or anywhere and send a message saying hi, how you doing? What, I don't have time for those. I tend to just see the message and leave it alone. So some people who are already working for other companies, they may be busy as well. So it's better to get on to the point and be professional about it. They may be like, oh, this person wants this, then they help you and they get over you. So please try to be professional when you're contacting them. Then covered in all that, the other step that I wanted to mention the most, that I feel like there is a question that most people don't understand. I know my YouTube channel is followed by mostly Africans that are outside Ireland and also Africans that are living in Ireland and they want to change their careers or they want to explore new career opportunities. So I wanted to cover this to say, if you come from another country or you are in another country and you want to relocate to Ireland, but when you relocate to Ireland, you don't know which career you're going to follow, or do you want to go to college straight? Do you want to use apprentice route, or do you want, okay. So if you want, whether you are, I don't, let's not mind your background. Let's focus on, you want to do this, but you have foreign education. Let's say you're coming from Zimbabwe or you're coming from South Africa. You have your matric certificate, or sometimes you didn't even pass your matric certificate. You have your grade 11 and your grade 10. What can you do to do that? If you have your matric certificate or you have level O from Zimbabwe or something lower than level O, go to the QQI right now, type QQI island qualifications, or you can search for is it NARIC. You can search for that. It is the National Framework Qualifications of Ireland. They will compare your qualifications to Irish qualifications. So most apprentices, when they are advertising them, they will write apprenticeships. When they're advertising them, they write that they're looking for someone with a living cert. So the company may write that they are looking for someone with living cert, but it doesn't mean that it's strictly Irish living cert. It could be Zimbabwean living cert. It could be South African living cert. What you have to do is to show them that what you have in your hands is equally or same as Irish Living Set. So how do you do that? You go to this website, you put your own, and you print the comparison certificate. It comes out as a certificate that compares. It's going to be written your country certificate, the level, and also compared to the Irish one. So now when the company is looking at your application, once that comparison is there and the foreign certificate is there and your CV is standing out and you have experience that shows that you have been doing something similar to what you're applying for, chances of you being declined, guys, they become as low as close to being impossible. So compared to it, because when you just put your foreign qualification, now those people have to work hard on finding out, is it equivalent, is it good enough, or is it not. And most of the times, if they see something that they don't understand, they'll just push it to the side, because instead of you studying when this person is good enough or not, they have other people applying. They would rather focus on the ones that they can understand compared to trying by all means to find out if you are qualified or not. So try to make things as simple as possible for them. Show them that I am qualified. Tell them that you are qualified. You have to prove yourself. When I first relocated to Ireland, most people used to tell me that I would never work as a civil engineer with the South African qualification. I don't know how many people, even Irish people, told me that. Some people that migrants that are living here in Ireland, that have been living in Ireland, some of them they actually had qualifications as well from their own country. They were like, "Look at us, we've been sitting with our qualifications. We're not working because it's impossible to work. Those people they don't understand your qualification." I did not listen to anyone. I sat down, I did my own research. I had to apply using this comparison, showing Irish companies that I am qualified and my qualification is similar to Irish qualification in this way. I had to sit down, explain to them. Even when I'm attending interviews, when they call me for interview, say, please explain your qualification. I had to explain it clear. And I wasn't even apologetic. I was showing them that I know who I am, I know my worth, I know my qualifications and my studies, and this is where I stand. Guys, if you know what you want, they will take you in. But if you are not confident with yourself, you don't even know what if you don't even know your own qualification yourself, the Irish people want to know your qualification. So it's about you proving to them. Then last but not least, the last part about the apprenticeships is about the payments. This is, I think, the most reason that those that try to apply for them wants to get into apprenticeships, because number one, you get paid while you are studying. Someone who goes to university for 3 years or 4 years, they are studying full time. There is no money coming in. There is nothing. You are just going to school every day. But for someone that is under apprenticeship, they are getting paid the minimum wage when they are still working for the company. Then there is a time where they go to school full time without working in the company. They still get allowance. These allowances, I'm gonna also attach the thing that shows here. These allowances, they depend on the first year get a different allowance, the second year get a different, the third year. So it depends on which year you are on. These allowances, they come under SOLAS. SOLAS is the one that decide to say, okay, apprenticeships in Ireland will be paid this much if they are studying the second year or the first year. But when you are now in the company, like working, because you work for a certain time, you go to school for a certain time. When you are in the company, some companies they pay the minimum. Some companies can start you as low as €8 per hour. Some they can say we're starting you on €14. I think that one depends with the company. But the nice part is that you are working, you are getting paid, you are earning while going to school. Then after 3 years, 4 years, you have the same qualification as I have of like engineering. Someone who went to school 4 years and you went to school whilst you were also working in that apprentice. After 4 years, you guys have the similar qualification. You have the same qualification. That's when now your salary jumps from that student salary or that apprenticeship salary that you were getting to around graduates in Ireland. If you like, let's say engineering, if you are in engineering, just know that graduates in Ireland, they earn around 43, 40 something thousand, going up to 48 or 50,000. So imagine that money after 4 years coming in your pocket, and during the years you have to be earning while working. So that's a lot of money, because number one, you enjoy your money, even if it's less money, but you are working, going to school, working, going to school, and enjoying money. You never run out of money. If you have kids, like some of us, we have kids, so it's hard for you to go to university straight and focus in university without earning. But if you have apprentice, you are earning while this you are taking care of your kids. The money would not be enough for those 3 years, 2 years when you are still under the apprentice. It's not a lot, but you can survive on it. Then after that, it jumps to around 48, 40 something thousand. That's a lot of money as a graduate. Then every year it goes up. You can check, if you want to check, how island salaries go depending on the qualification that you're going to be having, because apprentice cover a lot, guys. There's a lot. There's engineering, there's a lot. So you can just check for yourself. That's it for this video, guys, and see you on the next video.